So you just got your license, or you're working at a shop already for a little while, or you move to a new shop, and all of a sudden comes the opportunity to cut black hair or ethnic hair or black people hair, without offending anybody, trying to be PR. But guys, you're doing black hair and you're intimidated. You're scared. You don't know if you should even try it. You think the hair is different. It's a difficult situation, but it's something that as a barber you're gonna come up on, and you need to jump on it, and you need to do these haircuts, guys. There's no way a way around it. You have to go through it. Learn the process, guys. It's a little bit difficult, yeah, but once you get your system down of cutting ethnic hair, it's not difficult. It's just, I know what it is, guys. I know what it is. And sometimes, us, you, especially if, say, for myself, I'm Mexican. Mexican. We not that we don't get along with our black brothers. We get along great, but it's just their hair is different. So a lot of times when I first started working, I was scared. I didn't really want to do it. I just thought I would mess them up, So until I opened up this shop here. Which is already 10 years ago, and we're right next to University of Azusa Pacific University. So we were getting a lot of our brothers over here. So when they started coming in here, that's when I decided, like, you know what? I need to button down and learn this, and learn it and do it the right way, so that we can continue to have them coming back. It's, and you know what, as a barber, you should learn. You should know how to do every type of hair. You want to call yourself a master barber, you should know how to do every single kind of hair. Okay, guys? So just keep that in mind in this tutorial. I'm showing you guys exactly how I cut ethnic hair and using detachable blades. I find it that using detachable blades on ethnic hair, it just makes it a lot easier. So if you guys aren't trying it with detachable blades, I suggest you guys try it. This is the way I'm doing it. I'm going to show you guys using detachable blades, and the bottom line, I'm fading out with the machine. So that's just the difference. But check it out, guys. See what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Let me know, guys, in the comments how when you guys first started cutting black hair, did you guys have a problem with it? And this is not just for the white boys, and not just for the Mexicans. This is for the brothers too, because I know one thing about our brown brothers is that you guys have a lot of confidence. So when you guys walk into the shop, that's kind of intimidating to some guys, and I think that's why a lot of people have problem with cutting black people hair. It's just that confidence that you guys have, and that's my ulterior. That's what I'm here to tell you guys is, you know what? You just got to be cool. You got to do your job, do it the best you can, and prove that you know what you're doing, you know what I mean? And watch these videos. These videos help, and this is a step-by-step video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Leave me in the comments below what you guys think about this video, if it helped you guys out or not. If there's any type of kind of hair that you guys want me to do a video of, let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next video.
Every day is a win, since I was told that you don't want me. Baby, you're just cold, and I try to hold on to where there's no you.
What is up, tube, and welcome back to another tutorial by Big Al's Barber channel. Let's get on with this tutorial real quickly here, guys. What we're starting off, guys, we're going to start off using our Auster Octane, guys, and what we're going to use is we're going to use detachables. When I do ethnic hair, or black hair should I say, I always use my Auster Octane, and that's because it's easier to remove bulk. It just goes through ethnic hair so much easier than any other type of machine. You could use detachables also, but I just find it easier with this. And what we're doing on this gentleman right here is we're going to do a number 2 on top, 0 fade with a beard trim. And on the top, what we're going to do is we're going to keep his curls, so we're not going against the grain. We're just going to go with the grain only. So when you're going with the grain, guys, on gentlemen like this, on ethnic hair, when they ask you to keep the waves, what that means is they don't want you to take the waves down on top. On top, when you go forward like this, it creates a wave, kind of like little lines of hair, waves of hair. So in order not to remove those or to go with the grain, you have to start from the back of the head and you go forward, as you see, never going from the front to the back. Remember that. If they want it against the grain, then you can go from front to back. If not, you're going to go only from back to front. So right here, as you can see, I'm just basically going downward. Even on the sides, I'm going around the parietal ridge and I'm just going down with the number 2, just getting it nice and tight. I'm gonna switch over to the other side right here, and same thing, guys, and I'm basically just going with the grain, not going against the grain. Okay, remember that we're going with the grain. So I'm starting off from the back. The back of the top of the head is kind of where the waves start on almost everybody. I would say that's the part where from there it just spreads out. Okay, so from that point on is where you want to start going with your detachable blade. So right here again, I'm using my number 2 and I'm just basically pushing it all forward, just going nice and even, guys, nice and even. It's kind of hard to tell from right here, but when you're pushing it forward right there, you can see kind of the little waves on top. They're starting already to push forward. I just find it easier using detachable blades on ethnic hair, guys, because I don't know if it's because of the way their hair is, because it's so spongy and curly, that the detachable blades just seem to get a lot nicer, you just get in there and get it nice and tight. So right here, what I'm doing now is I'm going to create my first guideline, guys, and what I'm using to create the first guideline, I'm using a new Babless skeleton trimmer that I purchased at CTR Barber Expo. This one's not really out yet, so the only way you can get it right now is if you pre-order it. You can pre-order it through AtlantaBarbers.com. But basically, I'm just creating my first guideline right there, guys. You can see this is a medium fade. So basically, where I'm starting off is I'm starting off on the eye level, and I'm going all the way across. Keeping it nice and straight. Just creating my first guideline right here. There's many ways to fade, guys. A lot of people say, why do I create guidelines and then stress on trying to get them out? Well, it's not stressful if you know how to get them out. If you don't know how to get them out, then it might be a little bit more difficult. But this is just the way. This is the way I do all my haircuts. When I do a zero, whether it be on ethnic hair, Mexican hair, white hair, it doesn't matter. I always create my first guideline the same way. As you can see, it's just a straight line all the way across, and I'm just following it, connecting it, and it's gonna go straight to the eye. Now you could do this guideline with just about anything. You could use your any kind of trimmer. You could use sometimes I use a balder. Lately I've been on this machine right here, the Babless Gold FX. So since I gotten it, I just been using that, going with that, and right now, like I said in one of my other videos, it's my favorite trimmer. These little tricks that I'm showing you in this video, guys, and they're not tricks, they're just the way I do the haircut. But the way I do it in this situation right here, guys, if you're beginning on learning how to do black hair, this is a good way of starting off right here, guys. So now what I did is I put my number 1.5 now, guys, 1.5, and I'm same thing. I'm just starting from the back and I'm going forward. What I'm trying to do right there is I'm trying to lighten up the parietal ridge. The parietal ridge is the side of the head where the head turns from the side to the top. So that's the parietal ridge. So right there, I'm just trying to lighten it up. So I'm going with my number 1.5. But as you notice, I didn't go against the grain. First, I went with the grain. Now I'm going to go against the grain and go the opposite way. As always, guys, you always know when I fade in 3 sections. I fade. If you're standing behind the customer, then I always do the left side first, the back side, and then I do the right side. So right here, I'm just still pushing it down, pushing it forward with a 1.5 detachable ostre. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to go the opposite way. First I went downward, now I'm going to go upward, but barely going into the parietal ridge without going in. If you go in, it might lighten up too much. So, it's just playing it by feel, by look. I can see that it's not lightening it too much. So I'm going upwards, guys. I'm going against the grain right there. See, now I'm flipping it over and I see a little darker spot right there. I'm pointing it out right there. So I'm going to try to blend that out a little bit more with the 1.5. Still on the 1.5, guys. Still on the 1.5. This is a simple way of fading, guys. If you guys never done it this way, I encourage you guys to at least try. So we're gonna go with a 1.5. Now that we went with our 1.5, again, we went against the grain. First we went with the grain, then we went against the grain. Now I'm gonna put on my other blade. I'm gonna put on my 1A, the 1A. Basically, I'm just going back up a little bit lower than I went with the 1.5. Just a little bit lower. But I'm going against the grain with this. I'm not going to go with the grain because it doesn't do no good to go with the grain. Because now what we're doing is fading out. As you can see, it lines up a lot. Once I went with my 1A, now I'm going to put my number 1. Number 1. And this is the number 1. And this I'm only going to go halfway up now. See, I'm only got halfway up. And it's already lightening up. So as always in my fades, the way I fade out, I fade from the top to the bottom, and then from the bottom I fade to the middle, and then I fade out the middle. I don't why I do it that way, guys, is just, that's just the way I was taught. Just using the number 1 one more time right there, just cleaning up that bottom line. Now you see it lined up a lot. Number 1. So now I'm gonna grab my my regular machine, and basically what I'm gonna do is start fading out the bottom. I'm gonna create my guideline at the bottom using the Bablis Gold FX, and I'm just gonna create my guideline right there. And it's not gonna be much of a guideline because it's already a number 1 right there, so it's gonna be very, very light. So now I'm gonna lower my lever 1 notch, and I'm just gonna go back up to the same spot again, just pushing out that bottom line, pushing out that bottom shadow, pushing it up. Now I'm gonna go halfway, and I'm gonna go halfway up, and just concentrating on that bottom shadow, just trying to push it up, pushing it up, fading it up. Now just machine's closed, and I'm basically trying to push up that bottom shadow, just fading it out. As you can see, the fade's already starting to take shape right there, guys. It's real simple, real simple. That line's not going to come out. That shadow is going to struggle right there a little bit. So what I decided to do is, as always, I'll grab my trimmer right now, and I'm going to push that bottom shadow halfway up. Doing it with the Bablis right here, just pushing it halfway up. See, as I push it up, I kind of create a guideline there. See that little guideline shadow? Once I create that, now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to open my machine about quarter way, and I'm going to push that little shadow up again. Just pushing it up, lightening that shadow up. As I push that shadow up, it creates kind of another shadow right above it. That little shadow I'm going to take out with the half click lever open, and then I'm going to blend it out. See right here, and now we're just working on the center shadow. All we have, the bottom's done, the top's done, now we're working on the center shadow. Just trying to blend it out. There's many ways of fading, guys. This is just my you know what I mean? And like I said in my intro, guys, doing ethnic hair is you know, it could be intimidating for some people because you know black men are very confident when they come in. They expect to get haircuts, and you know, if you're not confident yourself, you know, how are you going to be able to take care of that? And you know, their confidence is going to reek off of them, and it's going to go on to you, and you're going to get nervous. But you know, guys, they're people just like us. They're same as us, same thing, you know. So you can't be intimidated by that. You have to do the haircut, get on it, and get better at it. Right there, I had the half clip, guys, and I was just focusing on that second shadow right there, just pushing it up. Our brown brothers are cool, man. They're so cool, and they appreciate these haircuts too. So again, right here, going back with the number 2, guys. Number 2, just pushing down. We're going against the grain, going against the grain from the top down. That's the number 2, guys. The number 2, just pushing it all forward, pushing it all down. Now I'm gonna flip it around, and I'm gonna go the opposite direction, just to lighten it up a little bit. But I see a little dark spot up on top, so again, I'm going against the grain right now, against the grain. Against the grain. If you're going against the grain, you're going downward, guys. Now I'm going to flip it over right now in a second, and I'm going to go with the grain. And I'm gonna go back with that same size, that same clip right there. I'm gonna go back up almost to the same spot just to lighten it up a little bit. It's a lot of trial and error, guys. Trial and error with doing these haircuts. You know, do not be scared. You know, be confident, do your homework. Videos like this help because, you know, when the client comes in, you know exactly what you got to do. You got to know the game plan. And believe me, these are tricky because these waves don't all look the same. The waves are definitely not all the same. Some people have thick hair. Some guys have very thin hair. Some people have lighter hair. Some people have darker hair. You're gonna get the gentlemen that have very dark skin, and there it's a little bit more difficult to fade it out because the skin color and the hair color. But guys, don't be scared. Don't be intimidated. You know, once you learn how to do these haircuts, it gets a lot easier. So right there now, I'm going with my number 1.5, guys. 1.5. I'm going against the grain, going upwards. And I'm just lightening up the sides right there. As you can see, it's just lightening it up. Going right up to almost where the right where all the curls meet in the middle right there. As you can see, that little spot right there, the lighter spot. Right there, that was a 1.5. Just cleaning it up, lightening it up. So I was saying that don't be intimidated, gentlemen. Don't be intimidated. You have to just learn how to do these types of cuts. Right there, I'm just cleaning it up a little bit more with the one. It's the 1A, guys. I'm on the 1A now. The 1A is below the 1.5. So remember, we did a 2 first, 1.5. Now this is the 1A. The 1A almost goes to the same spot you went with the 1.5, just a little bit lower without creating shadows. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go now with my number 1. Number 1, and I'm just cleaning up the bottom again. Going about halfway up this time. Going right off the side right there. It's all blending in, guys. All blending in. Very simple. You can see the waves from the top kind of forming on the sides a little bit. The sides really don't have waves because it's going to be a 0, you know. If it was a taper, then you would probably have waves coming downward the other way. Now I take off my clip, lever open, using the Babyless Gold FX, and I'm going to create my first guideline. Second guideline right there. You can barely see the guideline because when you go up with a 1, it almost is the same as a half. A metal 1 is almost the same as a half, so it's not very much different. There's no blending out. Now I lower my lever a quarter way, and I'm going to go back up to the same spot again. Blending from the bottom up. Blending from the bottom to the middle. All the way across. Once I go across, this is a simple way of fading, guys. Simple all the way across. Now I'm going to lower my notch another. Now I'm halfway, and I'm going to go only halfway up. Halfway up to where I created that guideline, guys. That's what I mean by that. Halfway up. Now I'm going to lower my lever another quarter notch, and I'm only going to go halfway up. But I'm going the opposite direction right there. Just pushing that shadow up. Once I get to that spot, now I'm going to lower my lever all the way. And I'm just basically trying to push that shadow up, trying to lighten it up as much as I can. Of course, that shadow is not going to come up completely. I'm going to have to use my trimmer right now. But it's the same process all the way around, guys. Same process. Just pushing that shadow up. You can see me just pushing it, trying to lighten it up as much as I can. Now again, I'm going to use my trimmer, and I'm going to push that bottom shadow up. I'm only halfway up, guys. I'm only going to go halfway to where we went with the half clip, remember? With a half. You don't want to go all the way back up to the same spot because it's going to be you're pushing your fade up. You don't want to push your fade up too high. Keep your fade proportional to the sides. The back could be a little bit lower if you wanted it. It could be a drop fade, or it could be even like this one is. As you can see, there's a little shadow in the middle. That's my middle shadow that I created with a half line. Now I'm going to go back with my half clip, lever open, and I'm just raking that shadow. Just raking it. First I start with the lever open, and I'm just raking it. As I go across, I lower my lever a quarter way, and I'm just pushing that center shadow again, blending that center shadow. That's the way I was taught how to fade, guys. I start from the top, work my way to the bottom. From the bottom, I work my way to the middle. In the middle, I fade it out. And it all just connects together.
But again, gentlemen, this is a good and ladies, this is a good way of learning how to fade ethnic hair, guys. The purpose of this video is to encourage you not to be intimidated, to not shy away from these types of haircuts. I think once you do one or two, you're gonna realize that, you know what, they're not any more difficult than the other types of haircuts. You're just, you know, sometimes, like I said, you might be a little bit intimidated by the gentleman, but the gentlemen, man, they're the nicest guys ever, guys. You know, as a barber, you got to learn how to socialize, speak with everybody, speak intelligently, do your homework, know what's going on in the world, know your social, know what's in the current events that are going on, so that when you speak to your customers, you know, you don't sound like a fool, and you know what you're talking about. So right there, I'm just working on that center shadow. So again, guys, if you're standing behind the customer, I always go with the left side first, back side. Now I'm gonna move them over and I'm gonna do the right side, connecting my fade all the way around. I never fade all the way around completely, guys. I just do not do that. When I was taught how to fade, this is the way I was taught how to fade. And this is how I teach my students or my apprentices how to fade. Again, we're starting right here with our number 2. And we're gonna go down with the grain, down with the grain. Just stay on point with the number 2. Remember, we started with the number 2 on top, just pushing it forward. I'm gonna push it forward, push it downward against the grain. First on the top of the head, but right there's the parietal ridge. And then I'm gonna just flip the machine around and I'm gonna go against the grain. And what I did right there is I changed my blade to the 1.5 because I just noticed it was a little darker right there, and I just felt that it needed to be lowered down a little bit more. So what I did is I put the 1.5. Now that I put the 1.5, I'm gonna go back with that same 1.5, and I'm gonna go against the grain. Against the grain. I'm just going the opposite way. Going almost to the same spot where I went, almost to the top of the parietal ridge right there. And you don't want to go inward, so you just want to go right off the parietal ridge. Always have your little brush right there so you can comb the hair down, guys. Remember that. I saw a little darkness right there, so I'm just gonna go back again with a 1.5, and I'm going against the grain right there. I'm going with the grain, I'm sorry, not against the grain. With the grain. Never go against the grain on top unless they request it, guys. Remember that. So right there, now that I did that, now I'm gonna go back with my 1A. No, I'm sorry, this is still the 1A right here. The 1A. After the 1.5 goes to 1A. No, I'm sorry. What I did right there was the 1.5. The 1.5, and then what I did is I spun it around and I'm doing it against the grain. Going back up to the same spot because I noticed I'm pushing it downward. So this is the 1.5, cleaning up the sides, guys, getting it all nice and tight. Once we get done with that, now we're gonna switch blades again, and we're gonna go with our 1A, and I'm gonna bring it back up to the same spot again. 1A. This is called fading with detachables, guys. We're just going down the step. Start off with the 1, 2 on top, 1.5 on the sides, 1.5 against the grain, 1A against the grain. Now I'm going with the 1 against the grain. And with the 1, I'm only gonna go halfway up again. Halfway, because that's all we need to do is go halfway up right there, and it should blend right into the 1A without even leaving a shadow or anything. The 1A. 1 blends into the 1A. So now we're going to take off the clip, back to our regular babbless, lever open, and I'm going to create a little shadow right there. Little guideline. Lever open, now I'm going to lower my lever a quarter way, 1 notch, go back to the same spot. Lower my machine another notch. Now I'm halfway. I'm going to go halfway up. Now I'm closing my machine. I'm staying below, staying on the bottom shadow, just pushing that shadow up. Pushing that shadow up. I'm getting ready to grab my trimmer. Again, push that shadow up. Remember, guys, if there's any of these machines that you like that I use right here, there's descriptions and links to them in the description to this video, guys. Right there, I'm using the Babyless Gold skeleton, and I'm just pushing that bottom shadow up again, guys. At this point, the fade's pretty much done. What I'm doing is just doing a little bit of detail work, cleaning it up. Half clip right there. Working on that center shadow. half clip lever open and I slide across, and then I lower my lever a quarter way and I'm going to slide it across again. Just working on those shadows right there, guys. Just no clip, half clip actually, and I'm just basically fading that shadow out, guys. You know, it's just, remember, fading is creating lines and removing lines, guys. I mean, there's some people say they, why create a line? You don't have to create a line. You don't really. I mean, you could start off with no, fading it out upwards, and there's so many ways of fading, guys. This is just my version of it. There's many ways. I mean, you could learn from so many different ways from so many different people. So many videos out there. You got to find what helps you, what makes you a better barber, and run with it. You know, use your own techniques. You know, find out. You're gonna find, everybody has a system of cutting hair. I have my own system of cutting hair. I'm just sharing it with you guys. But there's many systems of cutting hair out there, guys. Many systems. Right there, I just seen a little bit of darkness, and I feel that it wasn't coming up with the 1.5. So I'm just coming up using my steel tooth comb, and I'm just kind of cleaning it up, clean up little hairs that I see right there, making sure it's all blended in perfectly before we continue with the haircut. As always, in my haircuts, once I'm done with my haircuts, I do the shave part. So again, right here, guys, I'm just going with a Bronze Series 9. Bronze Series 9 is a shaver that is a beast, guys. If you guys do not know about the Bronze Series 9, I encourage you guys to do your homework, check it out. It's a little bit more expensive than the other shavers, but it does an incredible job. And for ethnic hair, ethnic skin like this, is very gentle, so you can use it. A lot of people, a lot of my customers, a lot of my clients, they always encourage me to use this machine because they know that it's easy on the skin. It gets you down to the skin, gets you down extra tight. So you know, it's a win-win. You gotta shave. Me personally, when I do a fade, every fade that I do, whether it be on a little kid or an adult, anybody, it's always going to get shaved, whether it's shaved with a straight razor upon request, or if it's done with Bronze Series 9. And like this, you know, Bronze Series 9, you can see that it takes me a quick minute or two just to do the complete shave. And the harder you push on this machine, the closer it gets. And really, it's a comfortable machine. You can't even feel when you're using it. Trust me when I tell you that, guys. So now I'm done with that portion. So now we're gonna move along, and we're gonna do the lineup. And as always, the lineup, guys, I push the hair forward, and what I'm doing is I'm brushing it forward, little hair sticking down, and as always, when I show you guys, I do the lineups. I do one side first. I don't go all the way across the head. I do one corner first, and then I go to the other corner. Now, when you see that corner's right there, you can see it has a little bit of a receding hairline, so I don't want to follow that all the way in on the corner right there. You have to create like an imaginary line so that you don't follow the lighter part right there. At this point, if I had an enhancer, if I did enhancements, this would be a good opportunity to enhance it and line up that little corner and fill it in. It would look awesome. But I don't do enhancements, so I don't do that yet. I haven't got myself a machine. I haven't found a machine that I want to get yet. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. But I know at certain situations, especially on ethnic hair, enhancements look awesome, guys. I really do like the way they look. You know, just like, see that corner right there? If I had a little bit of enhancement right there, it would look that much better. But one side is done right there, so we're going to move on to the other side. As always, I spin them around. Now I'm on the other side. Got one side done. Now I'm going to do this side. And basically just lining them up. I start from the middle, and I go towards the other corner. Remember, the corner has to be a 90-degree angle, guys, or should be a 90-degree angle. I mean, I know some people hairlines are different, and some hairlines don't even look like they could get a 90-degree angle. But if you could get a 90-degree angle in there, it's better to have that straight corner. It'll look a lot nicer, a lot more professional. Remember, guys, your confidence is everything when you're doing these haircuts. You know, you have to feel confident, look confident, act confident. Even sometimes if you're not too sure, you know, the confidence is gonna sweat off your body, and the client's gonna be able to tell whether they know you're doing it right or not doing it right, you know. And sometimes it's just the confidence has a lot to do with it. Always be positive, always be confident. If you're, you know, something, I'm gonna tell you guys a little trick about myself when I first started cutting hair. And I used to get very, very nervous, and back then I was a big guy, so I would start sweating bullets, you know. And what I would do in situations like this is I would just, you know, carry a conversation on with the customer. Just talk to him and talk to him about sports, talk to him about life, talk to him about, you know, events that are happening at current affairs that are happening, and it'll just make you more comfortable and make you easier for you to function and be, you know what I mean, to just keep a conversation with the customer while you're doing it, and that'll help you ease your stress and your, you know, that, you know, you might be a little bit nervous, and it'll help you with it. So you can see right here, guys, that fade is pretty much done. The lineup's pretty much done. Right here, what I'm just doing a little bit of detail work on the sides, and I see little shadows here and there, and I just kind of doing a little bit of detail work, cleaning up after where I shaved at. Sometimes when you do a shave, you'll leave a little shave line there. So I like to use my trimmer to push that line up. Just keep it nice and smooth, make it look nice. It's all detail work, guys. The last 10%, 15% of your haircut is basically detail work and making sure that everything looks good and, you know, everything's blended in and that everything looks proper. Remember, guys, when you guys are doing haircuts like this, the detail portion, the ending part, is just so critical, because that's going to determine that's going to establish the difference between you and somebody else. You know, the detail points that you take, making sure that all the shadows are up, making sure that there's no lines, making sure that there's no steps, and that's all important when you're fading, because fading is a science to it, guys. And the sooner you learn that science, develop your own system, develop a system of cutting hair, good hair consultations, develop a system of cutting, guys. That's the most important thing. Have a game plan. When a client sits in your chair, have a game plan. You know, once you do your hair consultation, then you're gonna have a game plan. You're gonna know where to start and when the haircut is over. Sometimes that's the worst thing that most new barbers do, is that they'll start a haircut and they just don't know when it's over. They'll continue cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting, and they just don't know when the end is there. And then before you know, you look up and you've been on the haircut for an hour and a half. No customer wants to sit in your chair for an hour and a half, guys. Remember that. No client wants to sit in your chair for an hour and a half. Okay, so what we're moving on here, guys, we already did the fade, we did the lineup, we already lined them up. So what I'm doing right now is just move. So what I'm using on the lineup is I'm using some clear shave gel, and the reason why I use clear shave gel is because I need to see where I'm going when I'm doing the forehead. So I always use clear shave gel. There's many types. You could pick your own kind, and basically what I'm doing is pushing that line, just lining it all up, making sure that it's nice and straight, that it looks nice and clean. Always do the corners, do the sides. You know, just detail work, guys. It's all detail work, and things like this you need to pay attention to. So at this point, the haircut's pretty much done. I'm just wiping them all down. This gentleman also asked for a beard trim, so I'm gonna do a beard trim on also. He didn't really want too much off the length of the beard. It was more of a shape up than a beard, you know, a beard trim. So we're just gonna line them up real quick and just continue the service. Guys, like I said, right here I'm finishing him off with a bronze series 9, you know, just cleaning up his neck, making sure that it's nice and clean, guys. Like I said before, guys, these are simple haircuts, guys. It's so simple. You know, if you just take the time to learn the hair structure, learn the hair, the type of hair that they're not very hard. It's just, you know, a lot of times, like I said, we get intimidated by these types of haircuts, but you know, in reality, they're very easy. And you know, think about it. If you're the only person that's cutting black people hair in your shop, you're gonna get a lot of customers. So if you guys are turning them away, then I suggest that you learn them, because it's important that you learn these cuts. It's so important. So we're gonna finish this haircut off. Basically, the haircut's done, the fade's done, the lineup's done. He doesn't really want a beard trim because we're not taking down any of the bulk. All we're gonna do is just basically line it up. So my theory on this is just basically getting the little straggler hairs that are sticking out. Right there, I'm just kind of lining up the beard side, right by the sideburn. And then what I'm gonna do is line them up from the center of the bottom of the chin, and then bring it across right there, and just lining them up nice and straight. I'm kind of going with the same lines that he wanted. He's letting it grow out, so I'm just kind of just real quick cleanup. But this is considered a beard trim, guys. So you know, when your clients want you to do this, I encourage you to even offer it to them, because I don't know about your shop, but at my shop, this is an extra. So you charge a little bit extra. My shop is an extra $5. If you get a haircut, it's $22. With the beard trim, it's $5 more, $27. If they get an appointment, it's $8 more, so it ends up being $35. But right there, you see, I'm kind of just dragging my machine. The little hairs that stick out, I'm kind of just taking them down, and then I'm gonna line up the top right there. And that's pretty much it. Lining up the bottom, lining up the top, and then anything that sticks over the lip, above the mustache. See right there, I'm just kind of looking it down, and then see any little hairs that stick out. Just kind of evening it out. Right there, I'm gonna go above the lip. I mean below the lip. Now I'm above the lip. The mustache portion. Just little detail work, just lining it all up, making it look nice and sharp. Remember, guys, when you're doing haircuts, I encourage you guys to offer beard trims, because it's it's an additional service. It's kind of like adding a black mask, or adding another service, a facial. You know, you add those to your services, makes your ticket bigger. At the end of the day, the name of the game is to get your ticket as big, as high as you can with every customer and every client. You want to just keep not raising it, but you want to offer them other services so that their ticket goes up higher, make more money. So right there, I'm just shaping it out. I'm just using my skeletorized trimmer, my Fabulous Gold skeleton, and I'm just using it to trim it all down. Right here, I'm going to move on to the other side now, and basically I'm just same thing. I'm just going to clean up the sides. I'm not doing no beard trim. I'm not taking down any bulk. I'm just going to clean up the edge, clean up the bottom, and then line up the mustache. Same thing, just keep it all nice and simple, not doing too much, because again, he doesn't want a full-on beard trim. If it was a full-on beard trim, then I would take down the length of it, and then shape it out, line it up, and then maybe throw a little bit of razor on it on the top portion. But he didn't want none of that. He didn't, you know, he's keeping it simple, and he just wants it nice and straight. But at this point, guys, this is pretty much it for this haircut. This haircut is a simple haircut, like I said. Guys, this whole point of this video is to encourage you to do the ethnic hair. Do not back down, guys. You know what I mean? If you want to get good at these, there's only one way of doing them. Do your homework, watch videos like this, and then when the chance comes up, guys, you have to step up to the plate. Be positive. Remember, positive feelings bring positive actions that bring positive results. Keep that in mind, guys. When you guys are doing haircuts, you know, if you're nervous and you're scared, it's gonna show. Be positive, think positive always, guys, and just keep grinding through it. Learn what you gotta learn, and I encourage you guys to subscribe to our channel. We are a barber's channel that is here to help you guys further your barbering career. Don't hesitate to leave any questions below. If you guys have any questions, let me know what you guys think about this cut, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Grind on.